One of the most exciting vehicles on the market is the Ford Raptor, and there's even more reason to get excited because this is the all-new 2017 Ford Raptor. There's two things that go together perfectly, and that's morning and coffee, just like off-roading goes with this Raptor. So we brought it out here to the Badlands Off-Road Park. We got a full camera crew we're going to catch from all different angles. We're going to go jump this thing, and what better than to bring a friend along. Just make sure they're going to visit the chiropractor next week and not before you come out here. Alright, so we finally have this Raptor in its natural environment here at the Badlands Off-Road Park in Indiana. Let's see what it can do. The thing you notice immediately when you get off-road with this is just how good these shocks are. There's a ton of travel, and when you hit bumps like that, you can feel a ton of control. Obviously, this thing can't jump any bump, but this has got the most capability of any off-road vehicle that you can buy from the factory. You know, a lot of people consider these shocks as, well, it's just all for show. But once you really start using them in an environment like this, they're not just for show. There's lots of different off-road disciplines. You've got obviously rock crawling, trail riding. What this is really designed for is what you would call like a desert racing or stadium truck racing, where this thing is meant for maximum speed over bumps. It handles incredibly in these conditions, and you can pass anything on these bumpy trails with this. If you don't believe me, watch this. One of the ways that you can tell Ford was serious about off-road performance is this is equipped with BF Goodrich all-terrain TA tires, but they're 34-inch tall, but they're only a 17-inch wheel, so they give you a lot of sidewall, which gives a lot of give over all of these different bumps that we're riding on. A lot of other trucks, you know, they'll have 20-inch wheels on them, but this is a dedicated off-road tire. This truck was designed for one thing, and one thing only. And probably the most amazing thing about it is, even though it was designed with a singular purpose for these off-road trails, it's really incredibly comfortable, easy to drive on the street as well. Going over this trail, you can actually hit a speed where you're not really landing in any of these bumps. It kind of floats above all the bumps, and it really makes you feel like you're Robbie Gordon in an off-road race. This newest Raptor has obviously the EcoBoost engine, but it has this amazing 10-speed automatic transmission as well, and you've got these aluminum paddle shifters here on the wheel. And for off-road use, this is fantastic because you can basically select the gear you want if you're crawling or if you're going slow through a trail. If you're going a little faster, you can hold it in a gear with these paddles, and with 10 speeds available, you're always going to have the right ratio for what you're trying to do. We've been throwing everything we can at this Raptor out here, and you know, it'll really do anything, but you do have to be a little bit careful in the water. We went through a couple water hazards, and the way the front skid plate is designed, when you get into deep water, it just makes a bow wave that goes up and over the top of the hood, but the intake is right at the top of the hood. So we actually ingested a little bit of water. We were able to quickly deal with it, and it wasn't a problem, but definitely something to watch out for if you get one of these Raptors. It's great if you're going really fast through the water, but if you go too slow, the water will come up and into the intake. We also did a couple of high climbs with it, and this thing takes that with no problem. The all-wheel drive system works great. You've got selectable four-wheel drive here. There's a four-wheel drive automatic mode, 4 high and 4 low, obviously. Really don't need the 4 low for anything because we've got this 10-speed transmission. But if you really wanted to crawl, you've even got that option. I mean, this is just too much fun. This all-new Raptor, Ford has tuned up their EcoBoost 3.5 liter 6-cylinder twin turbo to make 450 horsepower. And for all of you haters out there that think it should have a V8, check this out. Not only is it quick, it actually sounds good too. You know, it goes without saying that this Raptor has incredible off-road performance, but what's even more remarkable is going along at 70 miles an hour like this, it's quiet in here. You could have a normal conversation, even though we're on these all-terrain BF Goodrich tires. The tires themselves are impressive because to have that much off-road capability but be this quiet on the road, that's something special. The other thing that's amazing is you really compromise off-road performance if you make the car handle well on pavement. In other words, if it's too stiff, to make it handle better through the corners on asphalt. It's going to be too stiff for the road, but these Fox shocks on the Raptor are tuned for both, and what that means is they have just the right combination of damping. So on the road you get a lot of control, you can still feel the truck move around, but it's got a lot of what they call low speed damping, so the truck doesn't move around really quickly when you get on the gas. Everything is slowed down, and when you get off-road they really start to shine. As far as the interior goes, there's definitely some cheaper looking plastic here and there. Overall the look is pretty fantastic, and this steering wheel with its thumb grips and a red center strip here to tell you when you have it upright, it's all about business and performance. You can get a Raptor with just about any of the luxury and technology items that you can get on any other F-150, so this is a pretty basic one. It's got the Sync 3, but it has manual AC. Doesn't even have push button start. Can you imagine even in this day and age not having that? But we kind of love it. You get in, turn the key. This has a real analog feel to it, and I think it kind of fits with this off-road theme. Our test vehicle is the extended cab, and if you're going to be regularly carrying rear seat passengers, if you can fit it in your garage, I'd go for the crew cab, because it really is pretty limited, especially ingress and egress with the rearward facing doors, the seat belt being attached to the doors. If you have to let someone out of the back seat, it's a whole big procedure. As we talked about in other reviews, this newer Ford Sync 3 system is really fantastic. You've got Android Auto, you've got Apple CarPlay, all the connectivity you'd want. It's really one of the better systems out there. Some great steering wheel controls, everything's in the right place. You've got tons of power outlets, 12 volt here, there's 120 wall plug-in outlet here, USBs in the center, just tons of room to plug in what you need to. Again, if you're using this as a regular pickup, it does the same as anything else. When you drive this, you definitely get the sense of how wide it is, and it's so wide that Ford has actually had to put the indicator lights like you would see on a semi. There's yellow lights that demark it, and that's because the DOT regulations say that if a vehicle's this wide, it has to have those marker lights. I think that's kind of cool. This Raptor really is the kind of vehicle that when you're a kid, you sort of dream up and wish that Ford would produce. And thanks to Ford Performance, it's actually a reality. We've had some real fun with this Raptor, and really that's what this is all about, having fun. But this is a truck you can use every day, just like you would any other pickup. Take it out here though, and it does what no other truck can do.